So if I've got a set of sequences and I want to investigate the differences and the similarities between them and how they're changing as they're, in this case, as the outbreak spreads from one geographical location to another, and also to see if there are changes as the virus moves between one species and another as their hosts, and the first thing I need to do is do an alignment to end up finding which positions are equivalent. My favourite alignment program is Muscle, so I'm going to download Muscle from its website. There's a new version of Muscle available. To download from Drive 5. This is version 5.3. I'm on a Windows machine, so I want to download the Windows exe. So that's now in my download folder. If I go to my downloads folder, here's Muscle exe. If I double click on it, it's not an installation program. It's actual program itself. So you saw it popped up and then it disappeared, because that's a program that you have to run on the command line. So here are my set of sequences that I want to run Muscle on. So what I'm going to now do is need to open a command prompt. So I need a console, not a MikTeX console. I want a command prompt, which is also called, so on Windows it's called the PowerShell. Oops, if I remember to shell, Windows PowerShell, that's what I want to open. So it's opened up in my home directory, so I need to change into downloads. So to change directory, you type cd and then the directory you want to move into. Now I started typing it and then I pressed the tab key to complete that particular word, so I didn't have to type the whole of downloads. The tab key will auto complete the file name so long as the part you've typed is unique. So if I just type D, because I've got two folders in that particular place, one called documents and one called downloads, that's not unique. If I type DO, and documents and downloads still both start with DO, so that's not unique. But once I got to W, once I press the tab, it knows that I want to do downloads. So now I can go into the downloads folder, and if I type ls, which lists what's in the particular folder. So if I list there, I've got a set of folders at the top, and I've got my Muscle exe, and I've got my sequence that I want to work on. So to run the Muscle program, you type .mus, the name of the program, so .mus, it's called Muscle-Win64 5.3, so I'm just going to press the tab again to autocomplete, and I was using the / and Windows uses actually a / -in, which is just the format of the command, then the name of the sequence file that you want to do, and then a direction, so a pointing saying this is saying the out. You could type -out as well, but I'm just going to use the direction, and then the file that you want to save it to. So I tend to use exactly the same name as I had the input, but add Muscle and aligned to it. I'm going to type H5N8 Korean Outbreak and CBI. Well, you can see why I prefer if it auto completes on the tab, and then Muscle, because I could have used other programs to do the alignment. I'm going to do Muscle aligned.fast, and it's saying it's not the right command. If I use the up and down key, then it moves everything in. So if I do that, so let's just check the Muscle is actually working. Yeah, it is. So has he changed the way the command line works? So if you just run the program on its own, it asks you for the thing. Okay, so the new way of doing it is muscle minus aligned, then the name of the file minus output. He slightly changed the way the command is written in this new version. So it's minus align, and then it was minus output. Hopefully this will work. Yes. So now I just have to wait for it to do the alignment of those 180 sequences. This new alignment program is supposed to be much better, but I found it quite a lot slower than the previous versions, which I'm seeing here. So usually for 180 sequences it's probably done by now. So I'm going to pause while I let it complete. Okay, so that entire process took about 7.5 minutes, but it did complete. So the next thing that I want to do is actually create a phylogenetic tree using the program which is called FastTree, which I've also got downloaded in this particular folder. So if I type list, you can see there fasttree.exe is there, and it runs exactly the same way as Muscle. You have to type something to run it. So if I type FastTree on its own, it gives me all of the commands that you use. So the standard use is FastTree, the alignment, then use the greater than, the pipe symbol, and then the tree. I'm going to use it with a few extra additions. So it's a nucleotide alignment, so I need FastTree minus NT, the nucleotide alignment, and then the tree. I'm going to use the generalized time reversible model, so I'm going to use minus NT minus GTR. I'm also going to use the minus quote to make sure that the header line goes through into the file, because you're going to need this so that you can look at the phylogenetic tree and interpret what each of the different leaves on the tree mean. If you just had it and it went through and it gave you their ID from the database as the only piece of information, you wouldn't know where they came from, what date, what host they were in, or any of the other information, which is really important to have on the tree. Because otherwise, without that metadata, it's just a number that you then have to go and refer to as a dictionary, and that's not a very easy thing to do. So I want FastTree minus NT minus GTR minus quote, name of the input file, so it's this one, and it's the alignment. It should be yes, that is there. Virus underscore muscle. Why is it not auto completing? Fine. FastTree. So if I highlight that and I do Control Shift and C, Control Shift and V, we'll paste it because I really don't want to type all of that. So minus NT minus GTR minus quote. So I then want to create a tree file, which will usually have exactly the same name, but .tree. Okay. FastTree is fast. A very fast way of creating phylogenetic trees compared to all of the models. That's finished. So now I've got a phylogenetic tree, and we can go on to look at that in another video.